Do you want us to stop Patsy?
Do you?
I ask you first.
No, I don't want us to stop.
Well, that's good to hear because I couldn't let you go even if I wanted to. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sylbourne Show.
From the moment we're born and start this great adventure, we're always reaching for more. Friends, love, independence. But no matter where life takes us, there's always comfort in the place we call home. This place is financial independence. And when you get there, you'll never want to leave. Victoria Mutual, the home of financial independence.
Before we welcome our guests, author and lawyer Pauline Campbell, I'd like to discuss the recurring topic of colorism. Oscar So White reignited the debate as a reaction to no black actors receiving a nomination at this year's Oscars. Also recently, the Brit Awards were accused of very little diversity on their nomination list. And on top of that, there's been a huge controversy in the casting of a black Latina actress, Zoe Saldana, in the Nina Simone biopic. Are black entertainers being fairly represented within the mainstream? And are they given the same opportunities as their peers? We would like you to join the conversation by commenting below on our Facebook page and on Twitter with the hashtag Sylbourne Show. Joining us today is Pauline Campbell. Welcome, Pauline.
Thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic. How was your journey today?
It was wonderful, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And tell us more about Pauline Campbell.
Well, Pauline Campbell is just that, a lawyer who works really hard, who does everything she can to keep herself happy in relation to her work and her outside interests. But what I do like to do is write. I've always liked writing, and it's a dream of mine. It's always been a dream. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of writing. I just used to sit there and scribble all the time. But really, I always wanted to be a lawyer, and it was something that my family expected of me. And I was good at drafting, and I thought, well, it would be something I would like to do. So I worked hard and got there in the end.
So Pauline, let's talk about your first novel, which is, and I have the book here, A Touch of Templeton.
That's correct.
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, for me, I have to admit, there was so much hype about erotic novels. About 2 years ago, one of my officers was sitting next to me and she said, oh, I'm reading this book. And I said, what are you reading? And she said, it's 50 Shades of Grey. And I said, well, what's that? You mean you don't know what that is? How can you not know what that is? And I said, well, I don't. I've never heard of it. What is it? And I read the first chapter and I put the book away because I said, what is this? I mean, if this is what somebody is doing and they're doing it so successfully, what could I do? And I didn't do it because I'd looked at the chapters. I did it because I'd already started writing. And in 2012, I was nominated for a Brits Writers' Award. And on the back of that, I had already started writing. So I said, right, okay, I want to put something down on paper that's going to make a difference for me. And I want it to be linked to my job, what I do, because I don't think that there's many books out there that will depict what I want to do.
Because you're a lawyer.
Because I'm a lawyer. And I wanted the main character to be a black character, and I wanted the main male character to be a white character.
Okay, well, I want to read this book because I want to be in this book, Pauline.
Be careful.
I think I'm qualified to be in this book. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me. Sometimes life has a way of throwing you a curveball, causing you to lose your footing by taking you to a place that leaves you uncertain and unsure. It was an unwelcome feeling because I hate anything I cannot understand. Is this when you met Mr. Templeton?
That is the moment that she turns and she sees him for the first time.
Yes.
That was a very difficult thing to put down for me because I had to research how does a woman feel when she sees somebody for the first time that keeps her or throws her off guard. And that's what happened when she saw him. Yes. She wasn't expecting it, she didn't plan it.
Now your protagonist if that's the right word, is a black woman, which is Patsy, and a white man. Patsy Cunningham and Richard Templeton.
That's correct, yes.
Now, key was it to play, or what was the key for that to be an interracial relationship?
Well, for me, the reason I did that was because, if I'm honest with you, we're living in such a multicultural society now. And one thing that worried me is that there aren't that many black heroines on our UK bookshelves. And I wanted there to be a mixed relationship, but I wanted it to be a white male and a black female, because I felt that it was a good thing to do. And in this society, I think it was the proper thing to do in relation to the book, because I have to say that Patsy has a lot of me in her, and I could write a lot more convincingly about a black female heroine, because I am a black woman, and it made it easier. I did a lot of research into the characters, but making a black male wouldn't have worked for me. I felt that I could get a lot more from my work by making the woman a black female.
But it is also a reflection of society at the same time.
It
and,
is.
And especially in that particular field of law, which of course I'm a lawyer as likewise.
Yes.
So therefore it is nothing new to a certain extent. But one will say, as a heroine, as a black heroine, and with a white person, I want to say, how does that makes one a heroine?
Well, for me, she's a heroine in more ways than one, not just because of the mixed relationship aspect. She's a heroine because she's a woman with flaws in her character.
Yes.
She's strong. She does everything she needs to do in life professionally.
Yes.
However, emotionally, she's flawed because she lacks the ability to feel and want to love someone, because she's had a hard time of it growing up. And because of that, she's closed off. So I wanted to create a heroine that is a normal woman. A number of women who are professionals are brilliant at their job, but emotionally, they lack something that sometimes they need to make them more able to sit down and talk to on a level, I find.
Okay. So tell me, do you believe then that women are underrepresented? Black women underrepresented in the entertainment industry, and more so in the UK? And if so, how can we, or black women, or the whole people, community, combat such?
I do feel we're underrepresented, and it is very sad that we are. However, I'm of the opinion that if a door is shut, you kick it open. That's my opinion, it always has been. Yes, I do realise that we are underrepresented, but I also believe that as women, as black women, we need to make more of an effort to get ourselves into places and to put ourselves out there and be positive about what we want. Because sometimes we don't help ourselves in relation to what we want to achieve because we put boundaries up. So for me, I believe we are underrepresented, but I also believe that as a woman, we need to stand up for ourselves and do something about it.
So therefore, what I'll say, and you said a key word in there, put boundaries up. Therefore, black women should be pushing the boundaries.
We need to push the boundaries. It's not good enough that it's the way it is, but it's not good enough that we're allowing it to be the way it is. We have to stand up, we have to say something, and we have to do something ourselves to make a difference. There's no point complaining because we can't change anything if we don't put an effort in. The civil rights movements would never have happened if people didn't put their foot down and try to change things. It's unfair. We need to do something to make it better.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, but coming up we'll talk further with Pauline about the difficulties that new authors face when breaking into this crowded market. See you soon.
From the moment we're born and start this great adventure, we're always reaching for more. Friends, love, independence. But no matter where life takes us, there's always comfort in the place we call home. This place is financial independence. And when you get there, you'll never want to leave. Victoria Mutual, the home of financial independence.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, and of course with our guest Pauline Campbell. Pauline, just before we left earlier, we were talking about pushing the boundaries and ladies really breaking through. And I wanted to tap into, what about the government? Is the government playing a role in that from your perspective?
Well, not really. I mean, the key really is that the government are out of touch with what society or what the UK is doing.
Yes.
Legislation, of course, they're dealing with that.
Yes.
But as far as the communities are concerned,
Yes.
I don't believe that they have a hands-on experience of the local communities. Most of them don't come from local communities. Of course, we have solicitors within the government. We also have Diane Abbott and we have other MPs of that nature. However, I still believe that the government on a whole are out of touch.
Right.
And as a result of that, they're losing their way in relation to what the people want.
And that's very interesting, because even some previous guests also, what I'm picking up a lot is that, yes, you got government that regulates and set environments, set the scenario, set the stage, but people have to take that responsibility upon themselves. Communities, leaders, have to take that responsibility upon themselves to break through. And maybe that is even what government is looking for, instead of people waiting to make things happen, to make it happen.
I think that the government are like any other establishment.
Yes.
They are happy and comfortable with the way things are.
Yes.
We have to make it uncomfortable for them,
Right.
for them to listen. And we're not. We're accepting
Yes.
a number of the things that happen. You need to be strong and you need to put your foot down sometimes.
I think Templeton is not just about a book about a man and a woman, black and white. I think it's a rebel cause.
I have to admit, I have made a few statements in there, but the
Yes.
one thing I wanted to do was to be very subtle.
Yes.
I'm not pushing a cause. What I'm doing is I'm showing that
Yes.
relationships are very difficult.
Yes.
I've looked at unfaithfulness
Yes.
and how easy it is to judge people who are unfaithful.
Yes.
How can we do that? Why do we do that? So many women, so many men, mainly women, judge other women who have been unfaithful. However, a number of women put themselves on a pedestal and forget that sometimes they're sitting in a room and they see someone they really like, and then they have thoughts about that person. They're lying next to their partner at night and they're still having thoughts about this person. They may not act on it, but are they any better than somebody that does act on it?
That's very interesting. And one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, about Pauline as well is that she's self-published, and that is also pushing on a boundary. What, Pauline, are the difficulties new authors facing finding publishing deals, gaining momentum and recognition, and what advice can you give budding authors who are watching on this show? Yeah.
Well, I think really that the world of publishing is a closed shop.
Yes.
It's a closed shop and it's only there for the chosen few.
Well, you're breaking it down.
Oh, yes. As I say, if a door is shut, you kick it open.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I do.
It's inspiring, yeah.
Somebody next that I knew at work, they wanted to publish a book, and they published a book on Christianity.
Yes.
And they talked to me about doing that. And once they spoke to me, I thought, well, you know what? Why am I waiting for a literary agent to pick me up? Why am I waiting for a publishing house? I can do this myself. So I searched and researched until I found Grosvenor Publishing House, who act for self-publishers. But the road was not an easy one. Financially, it's not easy to do. But what you do is you find a publishing house that will basically take your work and publish it. But you have choices. You can have the work edited or not edited. You can use a proofreader or not use a proofreader. But I researched the publishing house I wanted, who turned out to be excellent.
Yes.
But I paid for the proofreading, I paid for the editing. I had my book drafted and redrafted before I sent it to them. And I worked with an editor from the publishing house who looked at my book. And when she read it, I was very pleased when she said it wasn't just a good book, it was the best book that she'd read from that publishing house. And what she then did, as an ex-journalist or all the journalists that would be editing, she looked at what she could do to make the book better. So what she would do is basically be my editor. We never met, but she would send me notes, details, comments on what I could do to embellish my characters, embellish the plot, put things in, take things out. And that was the most enlightening experience of all.
So tell me, 2 things to the camera that persons who are self-publishing or at that junction whereby they want to break through and they're finding all these blockages, 2 things that somebody can get from you.
The first thing is to believe in your work. Believe that you can make this happen. Without that, there's no point. And the second thing is to make your work the best that it can be. Do not worry about spending money on editing and proofreading. It is worth it because you will become a better writer for doing it. And when your work goes out there, you can be confident that people will enjoy what they're reading.
That's powerful. Pauline, thank you for that. Very educational. Now, next thing, you're a lawyer and you enjoy that, yes?
Yes.
Now, you also love writing. Now, what finally gave you that push to pursue the avenue of your dream? Because I say this to you, and I'm a lawyer myself, but it's my dream of doing what I'm doing now. And I finally had to get that push. What pushed you then to realize your dream of author and writing books?
Well, I've always written. Always. Even as a young child, I used to scribble away. But in 2012, something happened which told me that I needed to pursue my dream more so than ever. I was nominated for a Brits Writers' Award for a script entitled Sporting a Feisty Shade of Brown, which was about my upbringing with my Jamaican dad and mum and my family. And I was nominated. I went to a wonderful gala night. I didn't win, and of course I was gutted that I didn't win, but to receive a nomination and to be one of 5 people to be nominated for a Brits Writers was amazing. And after that, I wrote another script, and then I said, you know what? I want to write a novel because I wanted to be descriptive. I wanted to get into my characters, and with script writing, it's very quick. You can't deal with the characters the way you can in a novel. So I decided to put pen to paper and start writing my first novel, The Touch of Templeton.
So that was the key factor there.
Yes, getting the nomination.
Now, I'm going to switch and flip the script completely. EU referendum, in or out? What do you say?
I'm in.
You're in?
I'm in. I believe that we need each other.
Yes.
You're more powerful when there's more of you.
Yes.
And to walk away from that, I believe that we will be restricting ourselves to the point where we will be suffering.
So you're a globalist?
Oh, yes. I believe that we need to open our doors because the future is opening our doors and we can't close it.
Well, Prime Minister Cameron, you got another fan. You're in. Well, listen, before we finish off, we always like to ask our guests to leave us with a quote, a mantra, a word that inspires them and will inspire our viewers as well. What is yours, Pauline?
Mine has always been and always will be, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the will to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you, Pauline, for joining us.
Thank you.
Good. And that was a very interesting, educational, inspiring, and what should I say, intriguing interview, I must say, about Touch of Templeton and the passion and the work that you did to get it out there to become a reality. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining us this time on the Sylbourne Show. And for more information on Pauline Campbell and her new book, A Touch of Templeton, visit our website at sylbourne.com. And please remember to visit, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. More details can be found at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Hi, I'm Pauline Campbell, and I have just been on the Sylbourne Show. An amazing experience. You've got to like, subscribe, and share.
Take one. Good. Hello, and welcome to another episode. Let's stop that again. I went, hello, you know, what? Hello. Okay. Yeah. Oh, just the ending.